Welcome back to the Daily Dose. I'm Tracy Alexander and it is the 12th of April 2017. Now let's take a look at some cultural history from 2 decades ago. A deadly campaign against the Rwandan Tutsi minority was launched by the Hutu-led government. An estimated 800,000 people died in the horrific genocide. Enter Jewish musician Jeremy Danneman, the grandson of a Holocaust survivor. He visited Rwanda in 2009 for the 15th anniversary of the genocide and befriended a musician who survived the 1994 massacre. A product of their friendship is now being released, an album they recorded together in New York. Our culture correspondent Daniel Campos brings us that story.
New York City-based saxophonist, clarinetist, and composer Jeremy Danneman is a world traveler. In 2009, he founded his Parade of One project, an organization that engages the international community in post-conflict recovery, fusing performances in public spaces with recording and educational programming. That same year, Jeremy, the grandchild of a Holocaust survivor, decided to go to Rwanda for the commemoration of the 15th anniversary of the genocide against the Tutsi, performing for all types of audiences in the streets and on buses, and at the Murambi Genocide Memorial Center.
It's definitely a good place to express yourself in a certain way. What I'm trying to do is work with images that we're used to. Like, we have a lot of images in the movies and the media of things like these clothes rooms and body piles, and we usually associate them with the Holocaust in Eastern Europe during World War II.
It was in Rwanda that Jeremy met Sophie Nzayisenga, a musician who lost her brothers and sisters during the slaughter. Sophie is a master at playing a traditional 8-string ancient musical instrument known as inanga. Jeremy's connection to Sophie was so strong that he fundraised money to bring her to New York City in 2015 for a series of street performances and workshops. While in New York, Sophie and Jeremy recorded an album which was released a few weeks ago, entitled Honey Wine, in a fusion of ethnic jazz, blending bittersweet melodies for healing of the soul.
And the musician himself, Jeremy Danneman, joins us now live from New York. Jeremy, thank you for being with us.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure to speak with you.
It must have been an extraordinarily emotional journey. What was it like working with that woman?
Oh, well, it's been fantastic working with her. I originally went to Rwanda because of the genocide. I was interested in that aspect of it, but I had actually known about this instrument, the inanga, beforehand from the None Such Explorers series, and I found out that it was the national instrument of Rwanda, and I told my friends there I had to find an inanga player, so I was introduced to Sophie, and I feel like we had an instant musical connection. She doesn't speak English much. Actually, when I first met her, she didn't speak English at all.
Wow.
She couldn't even say hello. Over time, her English got better, but our connection is mostly musical, actually, and that's how we communicate with one another mostly.
And we all want to know so much more about that. Jeremy, talk us through what the connection was, the points of connection between the two of you were.
Well, I originally went to Rwanda in 2009. That was my first time there, and it was after, it's a very interesting series of connections that happened. First, for my birthday in 2009, I had a birthday parade instead of a party in which I took my saxophone and I marched all over New York, from Brooklyn to Queens to Manhattan, past the United Nations for my Unite the Nations concert, back to Brooklyn over the Williamsburg Bridge, and it was like an 11-hour birthday parade. And it was then that I found that I really enjoyed connecting with audiences of all kinds, not just the kinds who show up in this club or that theater. because on the streets you just reach all kinds of people. And my birthday is in March, and soon after March comes April, when every year they commemorate the genocide in Rwanda against the Tutsi. And I decided I wanted to go do street performances in Rwanda to take part in this commemoration and to include others in the way I think about the Holocaust and genocide, because my grandparents were Holocaust survivors, and I had also been following this topic in other places, such as Rwanda. So that's what brought me to Rwanda in the first place. And it was an astounding experience to just go there and start playing on the street and meeting people and talking to them about what I was doing and why. And I was introduced by the filmmaker Kivu Ruhораhoza and some other people to Sophie. They thought the musical connection would work, and it did. We didn't need to talk. You know, she only speaks Rwanda, which is a very rare language. Very few people in the world speak that, so you can't really communicate with her in English very much.
But of course, in circumstances like that, Jeremy, as you say, there is no need for words, and you connected through music, and something incredible came out of that. We really appreciate you coming on the show today to share your journey with us, Jeremy.
Thank you. I appreciate you having me.
Thank you for being with us.